So with my elbow I cracked the glass of the window, threw off my ragged pants, and crashed out of the window and landed on the ground. From there I ran like hell back up towards my shack. I was then running in my skeevies, beard and hair soaked in blood, back to the porta potty. They saw me. Their engine then gets even louder, back up to the sound of a garbage truck. They were then tailing me in their extraterrestrial station wagon, nearly 5 yards behind me. I had to think quick, what do aliens hate? Nudity. Yep, the sight of my old, wrinkly, pasty body. So I was by then still running around getting lost in the woods, with an angry mob of aliens in a station wagon tailing me getting ever so closer. So off went my shirt, then off went the skeevies. So there I was, buck naked except for my old boots, running with blood-stained knees and body. I then came upon one of my woodland stashes, an old rusty barrel deep in the woods. I am so glad that I ran into that thing. Thankfully my nudity had by then bought me some time also. They were still there screaming in their vehicle, but now close to 50 yards away. I, the victim, then reached into my stashed barrel to see what I had. I had some non-perishable food, extra shrooms, and my trusty AK-47. Now with bullets and gun, I charged the enemy naked with my revenge. The first rounds of ammo got exchanged at the extraterrestrial station wagon. I then squeezed the trigger and shot the hell out of their radiator. Steam went everywhere, but the darn extraterrestrial station wagon just kept on moving on towards me. I let out a death scream, charged and jumped onto the steam-filled dashboard of their vehicle. There I was, naked with gun in hand, shouting angrily at the hostile ETs. I then saw the front seat through the steam, with the pale gangly ET sitting there growling at me. I busted through the windshield and grabbed that son of a alien's neck and yanked him through to the outside. With gun pointed at its head, I bit its back and heavily pulled the mighty trigger. Boom, boom, boom. It was on the hood of the extraterrestrial station wagon that its pale corpse laid oozing black blood. The vehicle was still soaring through the great woods, and heading towards my homie shack too. I had to act fast. What was I to do? Well, the other two jellyfish ETs still sat there trying to swallow me through their muskousy skin. So I employed the rest of the bullets onto the ETs and filled them up with lead. Those suckers exploded like jelly. I don't know what else to say besides the station wagon was still heading towards my shack. Next, everything happened so fastly compared to the rest of the dreadful night. The station wagon and I were then nearing in on nearly 50 feet of the shack. Then, luckily for my shack, there was a thick brick wall to the south of it left over from the previous landowner. Well, the extraterrestrial station wagon and me then made big impact upon the old brick wall, in the process throwing me off the exploding hood and flipping me onto the wet ground near my shack. I then watched the remaining fireworks of the exploding extraterrestrial station wagon. The extreme heat trimmed nearly 4 inches off of my beard. And I'm telling ya, at the moment all I cared about was the death of the 3 ETs, I felt so jolly. So after finishing off the fireworks, I headed back into my shack to put some clothes on to cover up my naked bloody body. At the time all I had left was an old pair of overalls. So all I was then wearing was some old overalls and boots. Plenty of blood though. I then looked up at the clock to see that it was 4:45 a.m. From there I went out of the door armed with my AK-47 and headed to the next hill to go see my own local forest herbal doc. He said I was pretty beat up, and had a busted gallbladder from falling on the ground one too many times.